Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that's kind of hiding in plain sight. It shapes literally every single piece of research out there, but most of the time, it goes completely unnoticed. We're talking about the unexamined philosophical worldview of the researcher.
So, I want to start by asking you a question, and I want you to really think about it for your own work. What is the invisible blueprint that's guiding your research? Because trust me, you absolutely have one, whether you know it or not.
All right, let's dig into this idea of a hidden blueprint. What are we actually talking about? Well, we're talking about those deep down beliefs and assumptions that basically steer your entire research project. You know, if you believe people are mostly driven by their environment, you're going to ask totally different questions than someone who thinks it's all about individual psychology. That's the kind of stuff we mean.
And look, this isn't just some abstract concept. It's a really common problem. It's so easy for researchers to get completely lost in the what and the how of their work, the methods, the data, that they totally forget to think about the why, the philosophical foundation of it all.
So, what is this philosophical worldview exactly? I think the best way to picture it is like a compass for your research. It's that internal set of beliefs that's always pointing you in a certain direction. It's what whispers in your ear about which questions are worth asking, which methods are legitimate, and, how you should even begin to understand what you find.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, especially for those of us who kind of have a foot in two different worlds, the professional world and the academic one. This can create some real friction, almost like a tale of two perspectives that are not always on the same page.
See, on one hand, when you're in your professional mode, it's all about getting things done, right? Practical application, immediate results. You're asking, what works right now? But then you put on your academic hat and the game changes. Now it's about theoretical rigor, adding to what we know as a field, being super precise with your methods. You're asking, what is true and how can we prove it? When those two mindsets are pulling you in opposite directions, well, that can cause a huge disconnect in your work.
So, how do we even start to untangle this? A great way is to look at two of the heavy hitters in qualitative research, Robert K. Yin and Robert E. Stake. By looking at their different approaches, we can get a much better handle on where we ourselves are coming from.
First up is Robert K. Yin. His style is all about structure. It's super systematic. He's big on things like detailed protocols and using multiple sources of evidence to really nail down your findings. It's a very clear, very rigorous way to approach a question.
And then you've got Robert E. Stake. His whole vibe is more flexible, more interpretive. He's really focused on understanding the unique story of a single case through things like deep observation and just spending time in that world. So by putting these two side by side, you can really see just how different the starting points for research can be.
Okay, so we've seen the potential for conflict. How do we fix it? We can actually turn this into what I like to call the Worldview Alignment Challenge, a really practical path to get some clarity and make our work that much stronger.
And here's the roadmap. It's just 4 steps. First, get crystal clear on your professional goals. What do you want to accomplish out there? Second, do the same for your academic aims. What kind of contribution do you want to make? Third, take a hard look at the approaches of guys like Yin and Stake and ask yourself, which one feels more like me? Which one serves my goals? And finally, step 4, you pull it all together. You synthesize it into your own aligned worldview.
And why bother with all this? What's the payoff? Simple. The whole goal is to refine your professional perspectives and your academic outputs. You want them to start feeding each other, making each other stronger, instead of pulling you apart.
When you really get down to it, what we're talking about here is huge. It's about forging your identity as a researcher. It's about switching from being driven by these unconscious biases to being a conscious designer of your own research path.
So let's just quickly recap why this is so important. Your worldview, it shapes every single decision you make in your research. Getting it aligned stops that internal tug-of-war. A clear perspective makes your actual academic work, your papers, your findings, that much more powerful. And really, this whole process is what takes you from just being a student to becoming a truly refined researcher.
So I'll just leave you with this. That hidden blueprint has been there the whole time, kind of running the show from behind the scenes. But now that you know how to actually look for it, what does your blueprint say about you?